So welcome everyone. So this is the award session for PETS 2021. So thank you for joining us. And it is my privilege, along with my co-chair, Apu Kapadia, to present the Best Student Paper Award. And this is a special award at PETS that goes to the work led by a student first author that is judged as the best contribution to the field. And it is named for Andreas Fitzman, who was really an instrumental leader in creating this community and one of the first people to work on anonymous communication technologies, and someone who, in addition to his research work, was really a leader in using privacy research to influence policy and to communicate it to the general public as well as government.
So with that, I'll talk a little bit about our award process. We had 42 papers which we considered. We had to exclude a paper because of a conflict of interest with the award chairs. But 42 papers were considered. To be eligible, of course, it had to be a paper accepted at PETS 2021 with a student first author. And the award worthiness was that at least one PC reviewer gave it a rating as perhaps suitable. So that was part of the review process. So out of these 42 papers that were considered, we looked at them and shortlisted 15 papers based on the PC reviews and the abstracts. And then we selected the winners based on criteria as laid out by the award. Description based on the papers, the presentations, and then the comments from participants. Okay, so without further ado, the Best Student Paper Award winners. So we'll start with two runners-up papers in no particular order. So the first one goes to Fast Privacy Preserving Punch Cards by Saba, Eskandarian. So if you're in the audience, please come up to the podium. You don't have to say anything, just do a dance for us because we have to get through a few more awards. But you're invited to come and dance on the carpet. Now we'll go to the next one, next runner-up.
So that the next runner-up award winner is for the C name of the game paper, Yana Demova as the lead student author.
Okay, so Yana Demova, you're also invited to come up. Okay, so now moving to the best student papers. We again have two. The first one goes to Residue-Free Computing by Logan Arkema and Micah Scher. Please come up and celebrate. And Dave will announce the next one.
Okay, and the last award, this is the other Best Student Paper Award winner, is for the Oblivious DNS over HTTPS paper, Sudesh Singamala as the lead student author. So congratulations to all of our winners. That's a recap. If you're looking for that, I think we are getting some dancers now. So congratulations to the winners. I don't know if others can see them dancing, but wonderful to have our award winners up with us.
Okay, well, thank you, folks, and congratulations to the winners again. Now we'll transition to the PET Award. That'll be presented by Simone Fischer-Hubner. So Simone, please take it away.
Yes, welcome to the Caspar Bowden Award session for outstanding research in privacy-enhancing technologies. And the award will be jointly presented by the two award chairs for 2020. So this is me and my colleague Panos.
Hello, everyone.
So next slide, please. So first of all, this is also an important opportunity to commemorate Caspar Bowden, who is the person after whom the award has been called. So the award has been set up for researchers who have made an outstanding contribution to the theory, design, implementation, or deployment of PETs. And it is awarded annually at PETs. And it is in memory of Caspar Bowden, our dear friend and colleague, who very unfortunately passed away 5 years ago. So Caspar Bowden, many of us know him still very well and have him close to our hearts. He has been a dedicated privacy activist, a British privacy advocate. He was also for several years the chief privacy advisor at Microsoft. And he was known that he was fighting for the right to privacy and freedom from mass surveillance. He was very active both in the technical and also the political social debates. And he believed deeply in the key role of pets as a means to protect these rights to privacy. And he was involved in the pets community for most of its history. And so it was really a severe loss for many reasons. And he also served at the PETS Advisory Board. And he was, last but not least, also instrumental in both creating the PET Award, but also for securing its initial funding. So that these are the reasons why today we also commemorate Caspar Bowden when we are handing out this year's Caspar Bowden PET Award. So next slide, please. Sopanos.
Yes, so we made this possible with the generous help of a number of very prominent members of our community. We put together a broad scope international committee trying to cover possibly all aspects of privacy. And we had 13 active members plus the two of us. We launched an open call for nominations, including the committee members who were encouraged to nominate papers. We received 33 nominations. One paper was nominated independendly twice. So we removed that. I mean, we considered it, jointly. And we ran a 3-round review process or discussion or an assessment process within the committee. The motivation for that was to try to balance the workload for the committee and get a thorough discussion and in some cases debate on all papers and all nominations. Let me remind that this was not a judgment on papers, which were all well accepted and successful pieces of work, but rather it was a discussion on the nominations themselves and the merit towards an award. And we ended up with a clear winner and two also very clear runner-up papers. Next slide, please. So let me shed a little more light on the review process. Here you see the generous effort made by all committee members. There were initially, in the end, 7 to 12 assignments for each committee member. In the first round, we concluded that 22 of the 33 minus 1 nominations were excellent pieces of work, but not at the level that this prestigious award would require. Then in round 2, we discussed further 10 of the nominations. We narrowed it down and we looked deeper, and I can say that even if there were disagreements among the committee members, we gave the chance to many of these nominations to go forward, even if there was, for example, a single negative opinion. This is important. So this allowed for very healthy discussion. And in the end, there were 4 top-ranked nominations that stood out, and they were reviewed by the entire committee that had no conflict of interest with any of these 4 final top-ranked nominations. Once the opinions were recorded, each member casted a vote that ranked basically those 4 finalists. And using the single transferable vote protocol, we determined the winner and the runner-up papers. And I think now the next slide, we will see the second runner-up paper. So let's please proceed. Data share network, a decentralized privacy-preserving search engine for investigative journalists. And if I were to use words from the discussion within the committee, this was an open source novel solution addressing privacy requirements elicited in cooperation with NGOs and journalists, a combination of practical and theoretical impact. A round of applause, please, for Castra, Wouter, Julien, Soline, Anne, Bruno, Laurent, and Carmela. And the next slide, we'll see the first runner-up paper. The next slide, please. Watching You Watch, the tracking ecosystem of over-the-top TV streaming devices. And the motivation or the gist for selecting this as the first runner-up is, again, with the words of one of the illustrious committee members, seminal paper on privacy leakage by smart TVs with ingenious data collection and thorough analysis. A round of applause for Human, Gunes, Ben, Arunesh, Danny, Nick, Edward, Pratik, and Arvind, please. And the moment everyone was waiting for, if we go to the next slide, we'll see which one is the winner for this year. And this is Does Learning Require Memorization? A Short Tale About a Long Tale. Authored by Vitaly Feldman. A warm round of applause, please, for Vitaly. Congratulations. What we will do next is we will watch a short award presentation by one of the members of the committee. So that will be in video form, because the member of the committee that we invited to deliver this talk, Dali Kafar, is in Australia, and this is very late for him, but he was very kind to provide this video. So let's listen to Dali regarding this paper.
So this year's Caspar Bogdan Pett Award for Outstanding Research in Privacy-Enhancing Technologies is recognizing the paper authored by Vitaly Feldman and published in 2020 in the 52nd ACM Symposium on Theory of Computing, Stock 2020, and entitled Does Learning Require Memorization? A Short Tale About a Long Tale. And so the paper context is really about machine learning.
Restart, please.
So this year's Caspar Bogdan Pett Award for Outstanding Research in Privacy-Enhancing Technologies is recognizing the paper authored by Vitaly Feldman and published in 2020 in the 52nd ACM Symposium on Theory of Computing, Stock 2020, and entitled Does Learning Require Memorization? A Short Tale About a Long Tale. And so the paper context is really about machine learning, and in particular deep learning models or deep neural networks models. that have been well known to nearly perfectly fit their training sets. A phenomenon that we call overfitting and that has been demonstrated empirically on several occasions. In fact, overfitting happens so much that the models do fit even to random and sometimes useless labels or classes. And this phenomena has been also demonstrated and observed in many real-life application scenarios, and we like to call this particular phenomena memorization. The point here is that natural data distributions have classes that are rare enough that you may only have one example of those. And for these examples, memorizing that particular example is crucial to have any chance at all on those classes to be predicted or classified correctly by the model. And so what the paper is proposing is the first conceptual explanation and a theoretical model for this memorization and overfitting behavior. More precisely, the paper is really demonstrating for the long-tail data distributions, which is natural data distribution for various machine learning tasks and for real-life data sets. In fact, memorization is necessary for accurate learning. The results also explain why differential privacy mechanisms, for instance, which is essentially a way to limit the model memorization, have disparity effects on some subgroups. But more generally, the problem of understanding why machine learning models leak information about their training data and what the costs of mitigating these leaks are represents some major research questions in privacy preservation of machine learning. Many research problems have tried to propose attacks and defense mechanisms to preserve privacy in machine learning models, but one important challenge is that if we can obtain a model that generalizes well to the whole data population and at the same time be privacy preserving is still to some extent an unknown. And if so, what would be the leaks through such model? Well, maybe the information about the outliers, which means those part of the so-called long-tail distribution which patterns do not blend well into that one of the rest of the population. The question the paper, and this particular paper is in fact answering, is closely related to the relationship between generalization and privacy. So in a nutshell, the paper is really providing a sound, thorough, and rigorous approach to show that generalization is in fact happening because the model is memorizing data, which, as you may have understood by now, is against privacy. So I personally believe the paper's major contribution is showing a new way to understanding the many different trade-offs of accuracy, privacy, and to some extent fairness for long-tail data distributions in deep neural networks. So on behalf of the PET Award Committee, I'm really delighted to present this award to Vitaly Feldman, author of this paper, with contributions that have already inspired significant additional research in the area since its publication about a year ago, and is very, very likely to have further impact on not only the theoretical research, but also the applied algorithmic improvements and applied machine learning-based research in general, and the AI applications design. This will bring additional practical impact to this rigorous theory-focused contribution. Again, thank you, Vitaly, for this outstanding piece of research, and congratulations.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, thank you.
The floor is yours, yes.
Thank you for the kind words, Simon and Panos, and for this great summary. Unfortunately, I guess the speaker is not here, but anyway, I thank you for it. Of course, I would like to start by thanking the PETS Awards Committee for honoring my work with this award. Also, thank you for sending me this beautiful trophy. It has very much impressed my kids, and they started to believe that I'm doing something important at work. My parents were also very quick to volunteer space on their shelves for it. So it's, again, something that is
worth a lot to me. I'd be delighted to get an award for any of my works, but this work is quite special for me, and it's actually one of my favorite ones. And so the recognition it received from the committee and this community are especially dear for me. One thing that makes it this work special for me is that it combines my two main research interests, machine learning theory and data privacy. The motivation, as has been mentioned in the summary, comes from this empirical observation about deep learning algorithms that has been puzzling me for a while. They have this very large difference in training and test error, with training error being often zero, close to zero, but test error could be very high, 30–40%. And in recent couple of years, this question has been puzzling many other people. It has been kind of on the mind of the entire machine learning theory community. So while this question comes from machine learning, the key idea for this paper actually came from my work on data privacy, or thinking about data privacy. Several of my colleagues, Ulvar Linkson, Nicolas Carlini, and Nicolas Papernot, were trying to understand various measures of hardness of training examples, including hardness for training by differentially private algorithms, like what makes an example hard to predict for a differentially private algorithm. And their empirical results clearly show that differentially private algorithms cannot classify correctly rare and highly atypical examples, many of which were not similar to any other examples in the data set. Basically, due to their privacy-preserving properties, differentially private algorithms cannot learn from unusual things that you only see once. And other things that I've noticed that there are lots of such examples in a typical data set. And this is kind of known to practitioners as informally as data distribution having a long tail. And it seems that differentially private algorithms are specifically struggling with this long tail, which basically led me to realize the significance of these atypical examples for learning, and also their other property that such examples that you only see once can be hard to distinguish from examples that are outliers, mislabeled, something that kind of not really useful for learning, but because you can distinguish between those in order to achieve high accuracy and on this rare and atypical example in the long tail, you also need to memorize a lot of outliers, which causes this large generalization gap, this difference between the errors, and explains and answers that question that has puzzled me. And the second thing that makes this work one of my favorite ones is that it actually changed how I myself think about data and machine learning. The implication, there are, for example, implications for some notions of fairness that kind of came to me pretty soon after thinking about this, but others have also been building on insights in this work. So I'm sure that the recognition and honor given by this award will help spread these ideas even more. And so I'm deeply grateful to this community for this award. Very much hope to see you all in person next year. Thank you again. Sorry for the noise, I guess there's some.
Thank you
very
very
much,
much.
Vitaly. I guess we don't have another sound effect for
Yeah.
another round of applause,
No,
but I think everyone
thank you
is
very much.
applauding and celebrating.
And we also hope to see you next year.
Let us close this session with, if we go back to the slideshow, please. If you went to the next slide, please. So let us close the session with a message from Simone and myself. We go next slide. Yes. We would like to extend our gratitude to all the committee members that spend hours and hours of their precious time discussing and assessing all the nominations. and here you see the list and the pictures of all in last name alphabetic order: Ross, Rainer, Jaap, Henk, Nick, Dali, Apu, Kazwe, Pierangela, Reza, Jessica, Thorsten, Paul, and Kunal. It was a pleasure working with you. We are truly thankful for all your inputs, not only regarding the papers, but also regarding the whole process. And if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have been at this point. So thank you very much, and a round of applause for our committee members, please.
Thank you very much.
And then let's go to the last slide as a closing one. Last comment from me is that I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude to my co-chair, Simon, who will be stepping down from the PET Awards Committee. So Simon, it was a true pleasure, and I really appreciated your guidance through this process. Thanks very much. And a round of applause for Simon for one more contribution to the community. All right, excellent. So that's it. Simon, do you want to have the last word?
Yes, no, I also thank
Otherwise,
everybody.
thank you everyone for...
Very happy about the outcome and that we had so great papers and also so good nominations this year. So it was very competitive. There were many more papers that were perceived very positively. So please also nominate for next year when Panos continues to be the chair. And the award committee also relies on excellent nominations. Yeah, thank you. So.
I think you're hard muted. Dr. Ed, we can't hear you. Refresh, I guess. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm going to be opening up the closing session of PETS, and let me share my screen. So congratulations it's the fourth time that a Vitaly has won, and it is also the fourth time that someone has scooped the entire cash prize, so congratulations. All right, so normally the PC chairs have the privilege of closing, and Florian will be closing with some acknowledgements and some additional information, but there's a few things that as general chair I'm taking the liberty of saying. So first of all, thanks to this is a subset of the volunteers, some folks from RIT, some folks from Waterloo, and we have Casey from NYU. We have Cider also helped with some of the building, but they were also, all of these folks were helping with being the technical chairs, running the video, and helping just be guides and working at the information desk. A big thanks to our sponsorship chairs, Susan McGregor and Stephen Murdoch. Not only did they help us get money that helps run the conference at a lower cost to all of you, but they helped us navigate some interesting and tricky situations about whether we should accept money from certain parties. So it's an important role. It played an important role this year. And thanks, of course, to the arrangements chairs. And honestly, Sunita, Pei, and Hanif, we didn't give them quite as much work as I thought we were going to give them because of the work of some of the other volunteers who I'll talk about in a second, but they were there week after week in interminable meetings and were always jumping in whenever they had some useful wisdom or additional perspective for us, and that was really helpful, so thanks to them. Thanks to our publicity chairs, Kat and Becca, for their great work with the website, with getting the word out, tweeting, and so on, and being just super responsive, and I really appreciated it. Susan McGregor was also our chair for diversity, equity, inclusion, and I'm sure she would want me to thank Crystal Mon, who helped her with some of that activity and helping us do more to make PETS a more inclusive place. And the you can also get a chance to meet Crystal, and it says at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's already 2 p.m. Eastern, but soon when we're all done with this, we'll have the BIPOC in PETS session happening in the Ford Foundation room. All right, so since Florian will be doing most of the final acknowledgements, the program chairs aren't going to be thanking themselves, are they? So let's take a moment to have a big thank you for Aaron Johnson and Florian Kirschbaum for their great work in putting together the magnificent program that we had here at this PETS. Thank you for all the effort. And they'll be thanking all of the other people who helped to do that, but this is a chance to say thank you to them. All right, so with that, there are 4 more people I want to especially thank for making the virtual PETS environment and the PETS event happen. And those are Nate, the builder Matthews. Nate actually does look like this. I just didn't have a picture of him without his shirt on. Nate, whenever we needed something to be done, bam, 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 he would just get it done super fast. It was really great to have him on the team. We've got Max, the cruise director, Sang. Max was there to help build all of the social events and make PETS a fun event for everybody. So big thanks to him. We have John, the wizard so rewardy. John would have John put together this image of himself. No, I'm kidding. He would be so embarrassed if to put together such low quality work. John did basically was capable and did almost like everything in terms of putting all of the event pieces together. And it would have been easy to just keep giving him all the work, but then I would have also prevented him from doing the research that I'm asking him to do. So fortunately, we also had the 4th and definitely last but not least, final person in the list, Ben Thunder from Down Under, Ben Zhao, who not only was extremely helpful in putting all the things together, but was also doing it all from the wrong time zone. So a big thanks to Ben, and it's good to know that without spoiling too much information, that Ben will be helping us with the event next year, and so you are all in good hands. All right, so with that, I just want to say, I'm sorry we couldn't actually welcome you in person to beautiful Rochester, and I'm sorry that tomorrow we wouldn't be, we would be taking you on a hike to the lovely Finger Lakes region to see some of the gorges, and then maybe stop at some of the places where some of the wineries for wine tasting or 2 or 3. And so some of these things that we couldn't enjoy this time at PETS, but hopefully at some other time we'll be able to do that. Thank you all for coming out. And with that, I will turn things over to our program chairs.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. There's still a large group of people here, and we're already running over time. So let me see how screen share works here. This could be difficult. This could get difficult. There we go. All right. Do you see my screen now? All right, great. Okay, so let me jump to that screen myself as well. Okay, so first of all, okay, do you still see my screen? That's an interesting question right now. And I can't see you anymore. This is really not a great tool. Where are we? Here we are. No. Here, there we go. All right, so thank you to everyone who contributed to this PETS. Overall, we had submissions from over 1,200 authors. Over 130 program committee members reviewed those papers. 17 committee members in the artifact review committee reviewed artifacts. We had 152 external reviewers who contributed with reviews to the reviewing process. And we had shepherds, which followed up with authors. Overall, more than almost 50 shepherds altogether that followed up with authors, making sure that the papers are reviewed. So this was a huge undertaking by a lot of people. Thank you very much for helping with this review process, for submitting your papers to PETS, to making all of this a great event. We had at this event, when we actually had the in-person event, we had 251 participants. We had 82 speakers. We had an invited speakers, and we had 23 session chairs. So again, thank you to all of the ones that made this program happen and that were interested in this program. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this event a little bit. There are a whole bunch of other people who contributed to this, and you will see tomorrow hot pets, and we will get to that. So the hot pets chair, Michael and Ryan, thank you very much to those. The Pets Awards chair, which you just heard, thank you very much to Simone and Panos, and you have seen the elaborate process that they have used in order to decide. Thank you to the artifact chair for this year, Cecilia, and next year we will see Bailey will join her. The sponsorships chairs already thanked by Matt. The stipend chairs that made sure that the money for stipends was well spent, Roger, Damon, and Andres, thank you to you. The publications chairs, which had a lot of trouble getting your papers into the right format for the De Gruyter publication. Tobias and Anselmus, thank you very much to both of you. Our De Gruyter chair, again, De Gruyter Open Liaison, Matt, thank you very much for taking the effort to talk to De Gruyter. And we already heard about the video chairs, Jeremy and Benjamin, thank you to you. Publications chair, in particular, we did a web redesign this year that led to a new website, and a special thanks here to Agnieszka, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, Rebecca, Ian, and Kat for doing that. Again, Ian and also Roger, they are running really the systems behind all of the things that make this conference possible. They are our infrastructure chairs. Thank you very much. And last but not least, and to David and Apu, who put a lot of effort into making the best student paper selection. And thank you at contributing this way. It's very much appreciated. And again, we get all of the positive feedback right now. It is no easy feat to have an online conference like this. So let's say really very much thank Matthew for doing all of the work and his helper team that he just thanked at this point of time. So again, Matthew, this was really an outstanding job. Thank you very much for doing this and jumping in at short notice in this difficult pandemic situation. Very well done, very much appreciated by everyone. The sponsors, I want to name them here. The Ford Foundation, which is a platinum sponsor, and gold sponsors of Google and LifeRamp. And the Hot Pets Prize, a small prize, was given by the University of Calgary's Security Institute. Next year, we will go to Sydney, and we have made a decision to make it hybrid. To account for the ongoing unknowns due to the pandemic, the event will be hybrid. You can attend online and you can attend in person. It's the first time that we are trying this. So thank you very much to our General Chair, Dali Kafar. We've already heard cannot be here, but I really like the way this is shaping up, and I hope to see all of you in Sydney. PETS 2022 is already going on. The notifications for the first issue are going to be sent in a couple of weeks, August 1st. You can submit to issue 2, 3, and 4 at the usual deadlines of August 31st, November 30th, and February 28th of next year. As said, the general chair is going to be Dali Kafar. The program chairs for 2022 is going to be Iconing to continue, and I'm very glad that Michelle Masaryk is going to join and going on to carry the torch up until 2023. Our organization team is Ryan Henry. Ryan is going to stay on as a Hot Pets chair. We're happy to have Rebecca join him for 2022 and 2023. The awards chair, again, Panos is continuing, and we are very happy to have Katusha join him. As publications chair, Anselme will carry on the knowledge and will work with Vijaya to help her out. Publications chair, again, thank you very much for continuing on, Rebecca and Kat. And artifacts chair, Cecilia, is going to be joined by Bailey, who is going to take over for 2023. The video chair, as already mentioned, for 2022 will again be Benjamin, and he's going to help us. Our infrastructure chairs are going to continue to run the systems, and our sponsorship chairs are going to continue collecting those great sponsorships, as already pointed out by Matt. And the stipend chairs, we will still need to decide. An outlook even beyond 2023 is going to be in Lausanne. And 2024, consider making a proposal. You have now seen how to run a really good online event, and you will see how to run a really excellent hybrid event for the first time next year. So consider making a proposal. If you have questions, you can ask anyone on any member of the PET board. The PET board is also on the PET website if you don't know who to approach. The deadline will be sometime after 2022 for making those kinds of proposals. Tomorrow we will have Hot Pets. Hot Pets will have an ice cream break. So if you have a real ice cream and it's hot where you are, have some fun while you watch Hot Pets talks. And last but not least, I actually do hope that we have a real in-person event again next year. And I hope to see all of you, or many of you, in Sydney again, and watching the talks in person and having some social interaction as well. And with that, I would like to conclude and wish you a nice remaining social chair session. And I don't know if you have an Hour Dark session today and a Hot Pet session tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much.